They were celebrating someone's birthday, and they decided to go from one location to another.
The vibrant 24-year-old you see here, full of ambition and ready to take on the world, is Chandra Jones. A 24-year-old mother of two, a successful model on the rise, Chandra was just beginning to make her mark, but she would tragically be shot dead on arrival after being invited to a party. On the night of September 29, 2021, at around 2:30 a.m., her life would be stolen from her in an act of violence that no one saw coming. She was invited to a party, a celebration that should have been a night to remember. Instead, it would become a nightmare. As Chandra and her friends left a Philadelphia nightclub, a barrage of gunfire suddenly shattered the peace of the night. In a flash, Chandra would be ambushed in her car by gunmen who would strike her multiple times. What was more chilling was the unanswered questions. Who would want to harm Chandra? What triggered such an attack? And why was she targeted? Tragically, Chandra's story echoes one we've already covered on this channel. Do you remember the case of 21-year-old Kenesha Gaines, who would be shot dead moments after arriving at a party?
What I gather, that I heard that when they jumped out of the car, they said, "We got you, bees." So it was intentional. Wasn't like it was a random. It was intentional.
How large was the gathering that was going on?
They were having a luau,
Okay.
so I think it was a pretty big gathering, and I think it was majority all women. So it's devastating.
If you haven't watched that case yet, I'll link it at the end of this video. It's a chillingly similar story you won't want to miss. But before that, let me take you back to the city where all this began. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, a city renowned for its rich historical landmarks, vibrant culture, and resilient communities, became the backdrop for a heart-wrenching tragedy that would forever change the lives of many. In this bustling city, 24-year-old Chandra Jones, a devoted mother and successful model, would find her life altered in unimaginable ways.
Eagle on, girl. Zero that.
Chandra was born in Philadelphia and spent her formative years in the suburban neighborhood of Clifton Heights, just outside the city. She was the kind of person who radiated warmth and positivity. But to those who knew her, Chandra's energy was anything but small. Affectionately known as Smalls due to her petite stature, Chandra had a personality that made an outsized impact on everyone she met. Her presence was magnetic, and she made lasting connections with everyone she encountered. To those closest to her, Chandra's warmth and kindness were what made her unforgettable. Her ability to make people feel seen and valued was part of what made her so beloved by her family, friends, and community. She was a daughter, a grandmother, a friend, and a mother to two young sons, aged 3 and 7.
Now put it in your mouth, please. Good, brush. Yep, that's really good. Get the bit. Say, get the bit. Good job.
But above all, she was a woman who was determined to make a better life for herself. Chandra's love for her children was the driving force behind everything she did. She worked hard to ensure that they had everything they needed and more.
You're the best baby in the whole wide world. Okay, babe. Give mom some kiss.
Her entrepreneurial spirit was evident in her pursuit of a modeling career and her business ventures, showing the world that she was not just a mother, but an ambitious, hard-working woman with big dreams. Despite the challenges that life threw her way, she remained positive and focused. But her career was as diverse as her talents. Chandra worked multiple jobs to provide for her children, demonstrating a work ethic that was nothing short of admirable. She worked as a bartender at the Tab Bar and Hookah Lounge in the Frankfurt neighborhood, where she took on the role to ensure her children would have a better life. She didn't stop there. Her determination and passion extended beyond her bartending job. She also worked as a model, an entrepreneur, and a fashion enthusiast, striving to make her name for herself in the industry. Her natural beauty and confidence made her a rising star in the industry, and she was determined to turn her passion for fashion into a lasting legacy. Chandra's work in the fashion world showcased her creativity and determination, and she took great pride in her achievements. Her modeling portfolio included shoots for both local and national brands, and she worked tirelessly to build her presence in the fashion world. She understood the importance of perseverance and dedication, and it showed in her work ethic. Whether working behind the bar, walking the runway, or organizing local events, Chandra approached each task with the same energy and enthusiasm. Beyond her career and entrepreneurial spirit, Chandra was a kind, selfless, and nurturing individual. Her family was her foundation, and she always made sure they knew how much she loved them. Her grandmother, Sandra Atwell, described her as a big person in a little body, reflecting her enormous heart and vivacious personality. Chandra's aunt Tiffany Samuels, who had played an integral role in raising her, often shared stories about how hard Chandra worked to provide for her children. Tiffany admired her niece's determination, often noting that Chandra never let life's obstacles stop her from achieving her goals. She would go above and beyond to ensure that her children never felt the weight of her struggles. Whether it was school events or family gatherings, Chandra made it a point to be present for every moment in her children's lives.
Mommy. Yes. Go ahead. Yay!
Gotta hit it hard, okay? We gotta give them time to run. Run the bases.
Hit it hard. Woo!
Chandra's friends and family fondly remembered her infectious laughter, radiant smile, and her ability to make everyone around her feel special. She had a unique talent for bringing joy and light to any situation, and her positive presence left an indelible mark on all who knew her. Tragically, that joy and light would be quenched in the most horrifying way. On the evening of September 29, 2021, Chandra was out celebrating with two of her friends at the 7-Star Lounge on the 2600 block in Philadelphia.
Like this, not that right, that bitch. $500, we love like that shit. Now turn it, can't wipe no bitch. You my nigga around like no bitch. Limo 10 on 5, my crazy, I had a heart. My bitch felt bad, I had a heart.
The night started out like any other, with friends enjoying each other's company and unwinding after a long week. However, as the clock struck 2:30 a.m., the situation would take a fatal and unexpected turn. As Chandra and her friends left the lounge and drove home in Chandra's Volkswagen SUV, they had no idea that their night was about to end in a devastating tragedy. As they made their way down North 33rd Street, Strawberry Mansion neighborhood, a car would suddenly pull up alongside them, but nothing could have prepared them for what was about to happen. In an instant, gunfire erupted. The shooters, believed to be two gunmen, unleashed a hail of bullets, firing over 20 dozen rounds into Chandra's vehicle.
They were celebrating someone's birthday, and they decided to go from one location to another.
Atwell says her granddaughter was driving her Volkswagen SUV along the 2000 block of North 33rd Street in Philadelphia's Strawberry Mansion section.
Chandra was struck in the back and wrist, but the violence did not stop there. The gunmen continued their attack, wounding two other women in the car, aged 26 and 32, both of whom were left in critical condition. The attack was swift, and the gunfire was so intense that witnesses described the sound as the grand finale of fireworks, followed by the distinct booms of shotgun blasts. The entire neighborhood was shaken by the chaos, and residents could hear the violent barrage from blocks away.
3 women shot, a young mother from the suburbs. The gun violence growing more out of control by the day. And tonight we're learning more about the young woman, the city's latest victim. I'm Jason Martinez.
I'm Shayna Humphreys. Let's get right outside to Chris O'Connell. Chris, what can you tell us about this tonight?
Well, guys, she was a Delaware County mother of 2, gunned down early this morning in North Philadelphia. Tonight, police are still looking for her killers. They don't know why she was killed, but they do believe she was targeted.
Philadelphia police were quickly on the scene and discovered the grim aftermath of the shooting. Chandra, who had been at the heart of it all, was rushed to Penn Presbyterian Hospital, but was pronounced dead shortly after arrival. Her friends, who were critically injured, were also transported to the hospital, where they fought for their lives.
Well, guys, she was a Delaware County mother of 2, down early this morning in North Philadelphia. Tonight, police are still looking for her killers. They don't know why she was, but they do believe she was targeted.
The Philadelphia police acted swiftly, gathering evidence. The police were able to confirm that the gunman had targeted Chandra's vehicle specifically. Philadelphia was already grappling with an alarming rise in gun violence, and this particular shooting was one of the city's most chilling acts of violence in recent months. The police initially had little information to go on, but they immediately began to process the evidence at the scene. There were over 24 bullet holes found in the car, a devastating indicator of the intensity and speed of the attack.
A triple shooting ends with the death of an aspiring entrepreneur and 2 others injured. Now a grieving grandmother makes a plea for help in finding her granddaughter's killer.
Witnesses reported hearing loud bangs and a series of gunshots, with one describing the sound as resembling the grand finale of fireworks. The scale of the violence was unlike anything most residents had ever experienced. Philadelphia police quickly turned to surveillance footage from the nightclub where Chandra and her friends had been earlier that night. This footage, along with witness accounts from bystanders who had heard the gunfire, would play a crucial role in piecing together the events that led to Chandra's death. But soon, investigators were able to track down a key piece of evidence. Police uncovered crucial evidence from surveillance footage from the nightclub and surrounding areas played a pivotal role in helping identify the vehicle used by the assailants. Additionally, eyewitnesses provided detailed descriptions that helped narrow down the pool of potential suspects. Not only that, ballistic reports matching the type of weapons used by a gang called BNG, a notorious criminal group in the area.
BNG, which stands for the Big Natty Gang.
The evidence suggested that this was not a random act of violence, but rather a targeted attack. The BNG gang had been known for their involvement in various criminal activities, including drug trafficking and armed robberies. The gang's association with the weapons used in the attack was a key piece of the puzzle, and it raised more questions about why Chandra's vehicle had been targeted. The violent nature of the attack suggested that it was gang-related, and the police began to suspect that Chandra and her friends had been in the wrong place at the wrong time. Several weeks after the shooting, Philadelphia police made a breakthrough in the case.
Everything that we've uncovered so far indicates that the victims in the car were targeted by at least 2 people.
During a series of raids on known BNG gang hideouts, police recovered several firearms, including an AK-47 that matched the one used in the attack. The discovery was crucial. It connected the suspects to the crime, and soon after, 2 individuals were arrested and charged with multiple offenses, including first-degree murder, attempted murder, aggravated assault, and illegal possession of firearms, signaling the seriousness of the crime and the severity of the charges. The arrest of these 2 individuals marked a turning point in the investigation. While the arrests were a step in the right direction, they left the family of Chandra with more questions than answers.
I would never thought a million years that one of my kids will be gone before I'm gone.
Has her own apartment, just beginning to live her life.
Was Chandra's death a result of a personal vendetta, or was she simply caught in the crossfire of gang violence? How could someone who had worked so hard to build a better life for herself and her children have been the target of such brutal violence? As police worked to bring justice to Chandra's family, they found themselves confronting a broader issue, the ongoing gang violence that had plagued Philadelphia for years. The arrest of these 2 suspects was only one small piece of the larger puzzle, and it raised even more concerns about the increasing violence that seemed to be spiraling out of control in the city. The murder of Chandra Jones was felt deeply by her family and the entire community. The pain and disbelief that followed Chandra's death were overwhelming. They described the loss as something that could never be fully healed. Chandra's mother, Sandra Adele, remembered her as a loving and caring individual, always ready to support her family and friends.
Chandra's aunt, Tiffany Samuels, who had helped raise her, spoke about how Chandra had always been dedicated to her children, working tirelessly to ensure they had a better life. Tiffany was devastated by her niece's death and expressed frustration that Chandra's dreams had been taken from her so suddenly. In the days following Chandra's death, her family struggled to make sense of the tragedy. Friends and neighbors who had known Chandra for years were left grappling with the senselessness of her death. The loss of a young mother who had so much potential, who had been working to provide for her children and build a brighter future, struck a chord with everyone who knew her. Despite their sorrow, Chandra's family took solace in the memories they had of her. They shared stories of her laughter, her warmth.
She was a good person. She used to talk about her son all the time, how much she cared about him, how much she loved him.
And the way she had always managed to bring light to even the darkest situations. These memories served as a bittersweet reminder of the vibrant life that had been cut short. Chandra's funeral was a somber event, attended by family, friends, and members of the community who had been touched by her life. The service was filled with emotional tributes, as loved ones spoke about her kindness, her dedication to her children, and the joy she brought to everyone around her. Her family struggled to come to terms with her loss, but they found comfort in knowing that Chandra's memory would live on in the hearts of those who had known and loved her. The investigation into Chandra's murder revealed a deeper issue of gang violence in Philadelphia, but it also underscored the growing problem of gun violence in cities across the country. Chandra's death was just one example of the many lives lost to senseless violence, and it highlights the urgent need for communities to come together to find solutions to this growing problem. As the court date approached, Chandra's family continued to advocate for the need to address the root causes of gun violence in their community. They were determined to ensure that Chandra's death would not be in vain and that the tragedy would serve as a catalyst for change. In the meantime, Chandra's family faced the painful reality of their loss. Each day was a struggle, as they tried to find a way to heal while simultaneously fighting for justice. Chandra's children, who had lost their mother far too soon, became the focal point of the family's strength. Her loved ones vowed to raise her children with the same love and dedication that Chandra had shown throughout her life. As they continued to mourn her loss, they knew that the pursuit of justice was not just for Chandra, but for all the victims of gun violence whose lives had been taken too soon. The family's fight for justice for Chandra was a reminder of the ongoing need for a collective effort to address violence in communities and ensure that no more lives were lost in such a senseless manner. As we remember Chandra, we must also think about the larger issue of gun violence and how it affects innocent lives. What steps can be taken to address this issue and prevent future tragedies? Let's honor Chandra's memory by speaking out against violence and supporting efforts to reduce gun crime. Share your thoughts and prayers for Chandra's family in the comments below. And remember, it's up to all of us to work together to make our communities safer. What do you think about it? Let us know in the comments below. And if you found this story intriguing, please like, share, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories like this.